In this tutorial, we will demonstrate how to copy an existing application within a project. Currently, this project, Regulator Test Stand, has a single application called Breathing Regulator. We are going to add a second application called Flight Regulator to this project, and we're going to do so by copying the Breathing Regulator application. So on the front page, we'll have a breathing regulator and then a flight regulator. Now you can keep on adding additional applications to your project by either copying an existing application or creating a new one from scratch. When you create a second application or third or whatever, you are reusing much of the existing objects that have already been created. So it's not like you're creating a new project from scratch. So you don't have the associated overhead when you create additional applications like you would in a traditional way of automating equipment. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the tree view, and we're going to right click and just copy the breathing regulator. So we're going to right click and just click copy and type flight regulator.
Welcome.
So now it's copied and created a flight regulator application. And you can actually go and
the flight regulator
and open it up. There's a few additional steps that we're going to need to do to make this new application ready for use. So we did the first step. The next step is to copy the application folder. So the breathing regulator part 7, that is our project folder. And within the project folder, we have an app breathing regulator folder. And that's for the breathing regulator application. Now we just created a flight regulator application, and it automatically creates a folder for the flight regulator, and within it has all the setup files for the various objects, instructions, instruments, and so forth. Also within it is an application files folder, and this is empty right now. What we want to do is copy from the breathing regulator application. We want to copy the application files, and you can see that there's some files including the background, we have install part HTML file, images, and test and setup HTML files, and so forth. So we're just going to copy that as opposed to recreating it. So we're just going to paste it, and it's just going to overwrite the existing folder. So now within the flight regulator, we have the same files. The next step is to copy the VSTA folder. The VSTA contains the files associated with the macros for an application. So within the breathing regulator application, there's a VSTA folder. So just copy and paste it. And there it goes. The next step is to open the VSTA macro within your application and rename all the objects. Then we're going to rebuild the macro. So we're going to rename. The only thing we need to rename is app breathing regulator. Now we need to call that app flight regulator. So it's very easy. So we're going to
individual tasks. Welcome.
Let's open the flight regulator.
The flight regulator.
Application. We're going to go into tree view, and then we're going to open up the VSTA macro. And just simply click on any of the modules and click Control F. And what we're going to do is find all the app breathing regulator, all of that text, and we are going to click Quick Replace. And for the entire solution, we are going to replace that with app flight regulator. Flight regulator. And then just replace all. There should be a number of them that are replaced. So 133 occurrences. Click Save. So what you're going to want to do is open up App Flight Regulator and just click the VSTA button. And it'll reset the all the declarations. Save and build it. And run.
Enter username JO and enter serial number 1, 2, 3. Install part.
So as you can see, it runs through. Just let it run through the entire both tests.
All tasks passed. Ready.
So we've successfully copied an application. The next step we want to do is if you look at the front page,
welcome.
Right now they're both grouped under regulators, but what if we want to put maybe breathing regulators for this grouping, and then we want to have flight hardware over here? So we can do that very easily. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up app and change the app property form and change the property group number to 2. Right now it's 1. So we'll go into the tree view, open up flight regulator, and click on app flight regulator and change the group number from 1 to 2. Now if we go to the front page, so you have 2 groupings. You have a grouping called regulator and then another one called untitled group 2. So you want to change that heading right there, and that would be done by going back into tree view. Go into apps and go to tab 3, and you have front page group 1 name and front page group 2 name. So you want to modify this one to flight hardware. So it's going to reopen.
Welcome.
So now you have 2 groupings, flight hardware and regulator. And Hiatronic Development Suite allows up to 4 groupings, so you could have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you could add, just multiple applications for each. So what I want to discuss now is the application's common and unique set of files within a project. So as I mentioned before, there's a lot of commonality between applications, and this is true because the virtual model or object model that you're working with is a virtual representation of your physical piece of equipment or your physical test stand. So, you know, the hardware, in terms of the schematic, that is really going to remain the same even after as you add different applications. You're still working with the same physical piece of equipment, so all that commonality will remain the same. So you're gonna have the same actuators, the same switches, pretty much the same instruments and PIDs. We'll talk about the instruments and the PIDs are a separate topic, actually, that we'll talk about in a minute. You'll also have, within each instrument, you're going to have common calibrations. So you only want to calibrate your equipment or your test stand one time. You don't want to have it recalibrated or different calibration settings for each application. So within a project, you're going to have common objects, common object files, and you're not going to have to rewrite that